Today we have on special guest Jason Matthews. He is the founder of the revolutionary app LeadMeNot.
Check out Jason's virtual world. Our goal is to gamify the podcast experience for our listeners. We accomplish this by creating a virtual world for Jason that listeners can enter and learn more about Jason through a first-person game format. Listeners can also earn money while being in our guest virtual world and get huge discounts on business services, clothing, and much more. Explore the open-world virtual city of our guest and enjoy virtual concerts, shopping mall, games, and a great fun experience. Play multiplayer games where you can earn discounts and money to use toward business or sell in our open marketplace. We hope you enjoy the experience.
Are you tired of developers and consulting firms taking advantage of your lack of technology knowledge? Narrow Lending is here to help with your software, mobile app, IT security, and game development needs. Give us a call at 888-503-8298. Get $500 in free advertising and professional advertising help when advertising today in our business virtual world and our virtual world affiliates. See how advertisers are getting a 200% return on investment on their advertising spend. Give us a call at 888-503-8298.
Have your own virtual business world, backend software, and mobile app for free where you can offer advertising, business services such as a website builder, accounting software, email marketing, and much more. Offer games, virtual concerts, virtual shopping mall, arcade with over 20 games, and live events in your own virtual world exclusively created by Narrow Lending. If you are interested, email us at info@narrowlendinginc.com.
5, 4, 3, 2. Hey everyone, this is the Narrow Lending Podcast. Today we have on Mr. Jason Matthews. He is the CEO of LeadMeNot and also does a lot of awesome other stuff as well too, IBM. Obviously, he can do a better introduction than I can. So, Mr. Jason, how are you?
Z, thank you. Thanks, man, for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. And how did you get into this industry and start LeadMeNot?
Yeah, so, I've been in technology pretty much my entire life. And when I say in technology, I'd be really clear. I'm not an engineer. I didn't study development or I didn't study coding. I never did any network IT classes or courses, but I've had like a natural propensity to enjoy working with computers and being near and in computers and whatever that looks like. Right? I think like the first computer we ever got as a family was in 1996 or 7. So I was 5, 6 years old. And I just remember loving technology, whether it was again, computers and software and hardware or video games or TV or whatever that is. So in my working kind of vocational career, I've been in the tech space more recently with IBM. It's been 5 years, actually. At the end of January, it'll be 5 years.
Wow.
So I've always had, again, like I said, a natural inclination towards technology-based solutions in my own life, and then what I've worked on as a product manager. But for specifically with LeadMeNot, I've dabbled in some software ideas as side projects over the last 8 years or so. But it wasn't until January of 2018, right? And I was kind of in this moment of like, man, I've worked on a couple of ideas. There were good problems to solve. I was passionate about them. They're somewhat fleeting in nature. And as far as my passion was concerned, or even like the desire to keep going on with them, like maybe the longest I ever worked on one of those two ideas was like 6 to 9 months. And I was like, man, there's something I really, if I'm going to work, get more effort and energy and time to it, something I need to be really excited and passionate about. And it just so happens, January 2018, I moved to Austin, Texas. I started with IBM. And man, I was kind of going through my own internal kind of realization and journey from an emotional, mental, spiritual perspective regarding how I approach my relationships with women in the context of dating, specifically online dating. And when I moved to Austin, Texas, there was just this shift internally where I just became really convicted around, man, I have not approached online dating and relationships with women in a healthy way or intentional way. And it brought me to this point of like, I need help. Like I came to the point of realizing like, I think I'm addicted to using online dating as a way to, enter into these kind of frivolous, lustful interactions with the opposite sex. And in that journey, as I started kind of processing more internally, externally, came to a moment where I was like, hey, there's some tech-based solutions out there that help guys, especially when they're struggling with like online addiction, specifically pornography, which I know is like a very different topic, and it's a big one at that. But it's like, hey, there's some solutions out there, offline, online, that I think, especially the online ones, can be done differently or done better. When I was starting to realize and look at my own life and the guys around me, of like, hey, people have struggled with addiction, digital addiction. What is a better way to find freedom from this stuff? Whether it's online dating or pornography or gambling, or I'm on Facebook too much, or I'm on Hulu too much, whatever it is. So, yeah, LeadMeNot comes from my own story, man. It comes from my own story of wanting to find freedom and kind of seeking redemption from something that has been destructive to myself and the people around me.
Why do you think like online dating is, and just full perspective, or just from my, I've never had an online dating app that I've downloaded because I always had a girlfriend. So like ever since high school, like 26 now. So I had a girlfriend from high school. Yeah, so I never had an online dating app. But like why is it so like detrimental, or why is it like kind of, why is it kind of like so I guess addictive per se, or I just don't know. Like that's why I'm genuinely serious.
No, that's a great question. I like the humble I like the flex there on always having a girlfriend. I'm kidding.
No. I literally like it's not like a good thing. Like, it's just like it's not like it's not like it's just happened. Like it's just not a good thing at all. Like it's just like, oh well, yeah, I like you, and so I guess.
Sure. No, I think that's an awesome thing too. Assuming that we're dating people we want to be dating, if we're in a healthy relationship, I think that's awesome. But that's a great question, Z, and I want to be clear that it's not online dating itself that is a bad or evil or addictive thing. Dude, anything digital has the ability to become destructive in nature.
Right.
And again, digital or non-digital, right? And what I'm saying is that in my own testimony, in my own journey, online dating became this idol in my life, where it was, on the surface level, it was like, this is an easy way. When I was 22, I started when I moved out to San Francisco after college. Hey, this is an easy way for me to meet women. It's an easy way for me to have some fun, have these needs or desires met or satisfied in whatever way. But then on the deeper level, it was like, man, I'm turning to this thing as a sense of comfort for something that's deeper than just me wanting to hang out with somebody, right? Like it's never that. And for me, it absolutely wasn't. So online dating is it can be a beautiful, healthy, life-giving thing, and it is for a lot of people. But for me, it happened to be the behavior it didn't start unhealthy. It started healthy and grew to be unhealthy.
Are you tired of developers and consulting firms taking advantage of your lack of technology knowledge? Narrow Lending is here to help with your software, mobile app, IT security, and game development needs. Give us a call at 888-503-8298. Get $500 in free advertising and professional advertising help when advertising today in our business virtual world and our virtual world affiliates. See how advertisers are getting a 200% return on investment on their advertising spend. Give us a call at 888-503-8298.
Have your own virtual business world, backend software, and mobile app for free where you can offer advertising, business services such as a website builder, accounting software, email marketing, and much more. Offer games, virtual concerts, virtual shopping mall, arcade with over 20 games, and live events in your own virtual world exclusively created by Narrow Lending. If you are interested, email us at info@narrowlendinginc.com.
And I think that's true for a lot of things, whether it's like, hey, Facebook is awesome. And then it's like, oh, I'm checking Facebook once a day. Then it becomes, I'm checking Facebook once an hour. Then it's like, dude, I'm constantly on this thing. Like, something turned at some point.
Wow. And like, so, yeah, it's so profound. So, like, basically, when you're on these apps, I've never even been on it. Like, when you're on these apps, is it that you're just like swiping through people, or is it that like so many people are in your inbox, or does it like?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll say what was true for me, and then I'll share what I've heard is true for other people. Is like, for me, it was the thing that was most addictive was being able to like really gamify the ability to like gamifying the chase of dating and romance, right? And it was like, hey, can I get this girl to match with me?
Right.
Can I get her to meet up with me? Right? Can I say the right things? Can I get her to make out with me? Right? It's like it was like it's everything that we experience in dating, where you can experience in dating offline, that it took to an online experience. That for me was like, hey, if I struggled with talking to girls in person, here was the perfect way for me to like say everything I wanted to say that I struggled with saying face to face. At least like getting someone to go on a date with me, right? So like that to me was the addictive piece, was like, oh, it became easier and easier for me to get what I wanted. And I've heard other people talk about in dating apps, it's like, yeah, there's this addictive built-in functionality behind swiping and seeing people match with you, right? It's like, I mean, you guys know, if we talk gamification, in a way, it is this gamified experience of like, what's the next match? What's the next profile? What's the next swipe I make?
But it's interesting because you're a really good looking guy, so it's like you could go you could go outside and like did you have any problems like talking to girls? Because I would think you would be like drowned in women to go like an app, or like how like is that like maybe I'm just crazy. Like, is that kind of like, did you use that to augment the girls you're already getting, or like did you kind of just like the offline version where it's like, okay, I don't have to deal with any rejection? Because I've seen like really good looking guys like yourself like still get rejected for some odd reason. I don't know, girls are crazy, but you know, like this.
Right. No, I appreciate that, bro. But I mean, for me, it's like, you know, admittedly, I've struggled with kind of self-confidence and how I see myself and what is my perception of the world.
That's so hard to believe.
Huh?
That's so hard to believe. Like you got a nice smile, you got good hair. Like, what the hell?
Well, my hair wasn't like this all the time. I used to buzz my head, just like I didn't even know what my hair was capable of.
Oh, okay.
The hair thing is a recent, like, last few years. But, no, yeah, so, I mean, but it's real, bro. Like, how this, and I think this is what's key. For LeadMeNot, like, again, it's not just dating. It's not just, Facebook or social media or pornography or whatever. It's like we all have these deeper desires and hurts and brokenness and wounds, and it's never what's just at the surface. It's always deeper, that when you really look at the why behind your behavior, it starts to inform a lot of the decisions you've made, right? So like if I tell you, then I struggle with self-confidence and these terms like fear of men and seeking people's approval,
Right.
then it starts to become much clearer of like, oh man, that makes sense of why dating apps became such a vice for you, because it was easy for you to win the approval of women, because you felt wanted, you felt needed, you felt desired, right?
All right.
And like you can apply that to anything. People who are constantly posting on Instagram, for example, some of those people, maybe a lot of them, are, what are you seeking, right? I want to be validated. I want to be needed. I want to be loved. And then it's like, man, well, why don't you feel loved and needed, right? We got to dig more and more. And like LeadMeNot, the vision is being a holistic approach towards digital wellness of like, I want people to understand the why behind their digital behavior.
Wow. That's
Does
profound.
that make sense?
Yeah, that's deep. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's what I post on Instagram. Yeah, wow.
And like, I know these are questions we got to ask ourselves around, hey, again, I'm not saying that everyone is addicted to everything.
Right.
It's more around what is unhealthy and what is destructive, and how do we come to this conclusion and awareness internally around, yeah, this is something that I'm doing that I'm not even aware of, and now I see it, and how do I find freedom from this thing, because it's hurting me, or it's hurting the people around me, and and then that's going to differ based on person to person too.
All right. Do you see, like, just an off question, do you see like that as you've gotten older, basically you kind of found your value more? Like, because when you're younger, it's like, oh, that girl's really pretty, or it seems like, well, I don't, but like, it seems like, oh yeah, that girl's really pretty, I can never live up to that. But as you get older, you're like, oh, well, I have a great job. I have like, businesses that I'm doing, my value is, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of see more, I guess you value yourself more. So now you're, have you seen that as you've gotten older, kind of, or like?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, because I'm 31 now, right? And the last 2 years I've been living in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I moved here from Texas. And where do you live, by the way?
We're in we're in Maryland, like Silver Spring, Maryland.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I lived in the Northern Virginia.
Oh, cool. Yes.
So that's cool.
Oh, like Arlington, kind of. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Arlington, Alexandria. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I moved to when I came here to Tulsa, I just based on the fact that I'm in tech, there's not a lot of tech out here. Like, kept the same salary that I was getting in Austin. So I'm kind of coming into the picture already a few pegs ahead from a financial perspective.
Right.
And then that allowed me to like acquire some assets in Tulsa that have been, like, from a real estate perspective and such, that have been really cool. And
Are you tired of developers and consulting firms taking advantage of your lack of technology knowledge? Narrow Lending is here to help with your software, mobile app, IT security, and game development needs. Give us a call at 888-503-8298. Get $500 in free advertising and professional advertising help when advertising today in our business virtual world and our virtual world affiliates. See how advertisers are getting a 200% return on investment on their advertising spend. Give us a call at 888-503-8298.
Have your own virtual business world, back-end software, and mobile app for free where you can offer advertising, business services such as a website builder, accounting software, email marketing, and much more. Offer games, virtual concerts, virtual shopping mall, arcade with over 20 games, and live events in your own virtual world exclusively created by Miri Lending. If you are interested, email us at info@merilendinginc.com.
Been blessings just to experience and like share that with the people around me. So I'm telling you this because in some regard, like externally, I get some level of validation of like, oh, like, hey, you're only 29 or you're only 30 and you have this and you have that and you're this job and you're whatever. And in some sense, like that feeds my sense of validate of like, oh wow, like okay, like because if I'm struggling with that myself, then I'm not even looking for it and I'm hearing it, right? So that's one side of it. Then the other side of it is, especially as someone who, I was just talking about this the other day, as someone I'm still single, right? I'm 31, I've never had a girlfriend, and
that is so hard to believe. What the hell? So
I think in my own, I think in the kindness of God or a higher power, whatever you believe in, from my perspective, I think it's been a good thing.
Oh yeah, less stress.
Just based on, well,
a lot of less stress.
I'm sure that too, but I think I don't think I was ready for really of like being in a healthy relationship with the desire for that to become marriage. And I think I'm better now than I'm in a better place now than I was even a few years ago. It doesn't mean I need to be perfect, but it's like, I think it's kindness. But as someone who's still single, I do struggle with like, man, B, C, D, E, F, G, I try. This is the way I live my life. These are the traits I have, personality I have, and it's like, man, how am I? I struggle with that, internally, and so all of that's to say to your question of like, yeah, there's a big part of it that's like, I think there's a big part of it that's become easier, but in another way, it's like I'm still wrestling with the same stuff internally that I was 10 years ago. Even if it's not to the same extent, I think that's just kind of the journey I'm on of like, man, I was 22 and I believed this thing about myself. I'm 31. I still believe that about myself, but it's not defining who I am, and it's not like weighing me down. But there is a part of me that I admit still believes it, depending on the day.
Wow, no, that's crazy. Yeah, you're such a good-looking guy. That's so crazy. But yeah, what other question too? Like being in Tulsa, like this is because we used to have to go to, especially last year, we had to go to Miami a lot, right? And when you're in Miami, I mean, literally, like you're looking this way, it's a beautiful woman. You're looking this way, it's a beautiful woman. It's just the craziest thing. Like you'll see and you're a good-looking guy. You'll see like the ugliest guys with just beautiful women. it's not like and I think the reason is because literally it's so many beautiful women that it's just not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like it's just so. Do you think like I guess location at all kind of plays a factor as well too? Because like I don't know, like say in Maryland right now, it's cold, it sucks. So like there's nothing, like no one's outside, there's nothing to do. Like it's like everybody wants it's cuddle season because like no one's outside. Like what the hell? So it's like if I'm in a state where it's nice, right? Like I mean, it's just more opportunity. You know what I mean? Like it's just girls everywhere. Like, do you think that plays a factor at all? Like I don't know how it is in Texas, but I just know how it is in Miami.
You're like, talking. You mean like regarding singleness?
Yeah. Because there's just so many more opportunities in a different place. Like.
Sure. But these questions you're asking are very timely because, bro, I literally was just talking about this over the last few days. I think it's really what I think is amazing is that I told you I've lived in some big cities, San Francisco, D.C., Austin, Texas, right? These are huge metros. Now I'm in Tulsa. I believe I'm closer than I ever have been in my life to meeting someone who has the potential of being my wife. And
Wow.
I think it's because the very things that you're saying could make it harder, I think in some ways have made it easier. So I'll give you some examples. Tulsa is smaller, is the smallest city out of those four, out of all five.
Right.
I'm a type of person who, like, I need to be in if I'm going to be in friendship and community with people, I need to be like seeing them every day, every week. We need to be like walking, like we need to do stuff together. A big part of me feeling loved is spending quality time with people, with my boys, right? It's like we're spending time together, and like, so I have a lot of female friends here in Tulsa that are part of my community with other guys that it's like we're spending so much time together, and it's like, man, I didn't have any of that in those other cities because I think, one, they were so big, and then two, just based on kind of the life I had more guy friends.
Right.
That's one. And then the second thing is, if you think about it, so I'm Christian, right? That's a big part of my life, and I desire that in a spouse and partner. And Tulsa happens being in the Midwest and, you know, buckle of the Bible Belt.
Right.
There are a lot more people aligned kind of to my values and worldview than otherwise in those other places. But I mean, it doesn't mean it's perfect. I'm just saying I feel like I'm closer. Does that mean I'm going to find my wife here? No, but I want to, you know, because like I don't know about you, man. Dating locally is now the only thing I can do. Like, I can't do long distance. I don't want to do that again, you know? So, yeah.
Wow.
It's a great question you asked, because I truly, just the other day, I was like, you know what? I believe that in my heart, that Tulsa has been really good for me. Like, not just because of LeadMeNot as like what I'm trying to build, but like, what have I learned about myself in my own behavior of like my relationships with women, right? Because I told you in the beginning of this, that's a big reason why I started LeadMeNot.
Yeah. And that's pretty good. Like that you in Tulsa, they can. And do you like with the how do I ask this? Basically, this is one because you're so interesting. Like I feel like
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
you are too, man. I can't see you, but I can tell you.
Oh yeah, I look terrible. That's the reason. And we try to make like you the star of the show. So like a lot of this, obviously you'll hear like a professional voiceover speaking with it, but basically, like I guess what I want to say this in a. Are you like, cause you're a good looking guy, like, are you like a picky guy? Like when it comes to women, like they have to look like this, or they have to go to the gym 5 times a week, or they have to have like,
yeah.
Cause I am, like I sound like I'm like, okay, like no, like I'm not doing this unless you, like.
Are you tired of developers and consulting firms taking advantage of your lack of technology knowledge? Narrow Lending is here to help with your software, mobile app, IT security, and game development needs. Give us a call at 888-503-8298. Get $500 in free advertising and professional advertising help when advertising today in our business virtual world and our virtual world affiliates. See how advertisers are getting a 200% return on investment on their advertising spend. Give us a call at 888-503-8298.
Have your own virtual business world, back-end software, and mobile app for free where you can offer advertising, business services such as a website builder, accounting software, email marketing, and much more. Offer games, virtual concerts, virtual shopping mall, arcade with over 20 games, and live events in your own virtual world exclusively created by Narrow Lending. If you are interested, email us at info@narrowlendinginc.com.
No, man, I'm not, I'm not picky. So hold on. I am picky in certain things.
You have to be because you're a good-looking guy.
There are things I'm picky about, but I don't think that's I don't think that's the deciding I don't think that's been the thing.
Right.
Z, it is hear me right. It is a combination of my own fears that I've had of commitment and even maybe an uncertainty of what I really want, coupled with just man, I just don't think I've met her yet.
Right.
Because I think a lot of it has to do with I try to be really intentional about who I spend time with and who I let into my really inner circle. Even though if you ask any one of my friends, well, Jason knows this person and that person, yeah, that's true. I know a lot of people, but I'm not super deep in relationship with all those people, but I'm not superficial with them either. So when I think about having a girlfriend or wife, it's man, I'm going to be super, I want to be really, really careful about who I move forward with in that. But then you could ask me well, hey man, you can approach dating in a casual and intentional way, which is true. And I think that's where a lot of my fear comes in. I've had a lot of fear of commitment. There's no way around it. I can't sugarcoat it for you. It's real. So, and it's cool when I meet other guys using my app, using LeadMeNot, that maybe they're guys who are single, they struggle with the pornography thing, to the point of man, I don't even think I'm good enough to ask these girls on dates because I'm struggling with this thing. And, just walking with people in their stories, because it's we're all believing lies about ourselves and the world. And it's how do we combat that? And then there are some things that are real. It's hey, if I'm full out struggling with an addiction, it's not wise for you to be in a romantic relationship with someone of the opposite gender, because there's a lot of dynamic there that can be ultimately you're hurting both of you, right? And especially him or her, depending on what is that, and even depending on what is the addiction or what are we dealing with. So. So it's not just the pickiness thing.
Do you think? One last question about that. Do you think that, because this is just my 2 cents on it, and as you can tell, I'm just a young Gen Z idiot. So basically, I look at it too. Okay, there's, because of Instagram. Just my 2 cents on it. From what I see, these women, it's just at an all-time high of just being a woman. It seems awesome right now. It's just basically you have all these people that they're liking your stuff. They're you just have so many more options now. For somebody that's trying to reach out to you in Dubai or trying to reach out to you here. If you're a pretty woman, do you think that just makes it harder on men? It just in general, just define it used to be. It seems early, maybe 20 years ago, it's it was a pretty girl in this city, she's gonna meet John across the street, and that's cute. Now she's okay, John's cute, but literally Leroy, he could fly me across, 3 states, whatever. Do you think that competition makes it harder for men at all? Because it's just women, they get so much attention now. It's just crazy. girls are not even attractive. You're 30,000 likes. It's what the
fuck? That's also a very interesting question. I think, yes, I even though I'm not on Insta or Facebook anymore and all that stuff, I don't need
that's good. That's good.
I don't need to know that what you're saying is true. And, man, I think a lot of it is based on how you try to, what are you doing to attract women, and what are the types of women you're trying to attract? So admittedly, in my struggles with online dating and like just unhealthy relationships with girls, there have been times where I've tried to use my status, even my own self-inflated ego or status of like, well, I make this much money, and I have, whatever ABC. It's like I've tried to use that as a way to like, okay, maybe I can win women over that way, right?
Right.
And sometimes it's been successful, and other times it hasn't. But even what I realized was like, man, the very things I'm trying to win people over with outside of my personality and my spirit and my heart is like, man, are these even the people I want to attract, right? Like these girls that are getting hit up by all these guys and like they can be spoiled and they can get money thrown at them, like at the end of the day.
Are you tired of developers and consulting firms taking advantage of your lack of technology knowledge? Narrow Lending is here to help with your software, mobile app, IT security, and game development needs. Give us a call at 888-503-8298. Get $500 in free advertising and professional advertising help when advertising today in our business virtual world and our virtual world affiliates. See how advertisers are getting a 200% return on investment on their advertising spend. Give us a call at 888-503-8298.
Have your own virtual business world, backend software, and mobile app for free where you can offer advertising, business services such as a website builder, accounting software, email marketing, and much more. Offer games, virtual concerts, virtual shopping mall, arcade with over 20 games, and live events in your own virtual world exclusively created by Narrow Lending. If you are interested, email us at info@narrowlendinginc.com.
Hey, is that really who you want to be with, or is that who you just want to hang out with and have some fun with? And that's what I think we need to ask ourselves is, what are you looking for, and who do you want to be with in their heart and spirit and soul, And you can either look at it from a religious perspective and spiritual perspective, or you can look at it from a secular standpoint as well. I think it still stands.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, wow, that's so profound. Like, and where are you from? A Maryland, Virginia kind of area, or?
I was born and raised in outside New York City in the suburbs, and my parents are from India.
Oh, okay. And how long did you live in Virginia, like Northern Virginia?
Well, I went to school in Richmond, Virginia for college.
And
then I moved to D.C. at the end of 2014, and then I left the summer of 2017.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
people, that's just what I've heard. D.C., Maryland, Virginia, the women are one of the hardest to get in the country. This is what I heard. They're just, I don't know why. I guess because it's so much wealth concentrated in one area. Like, I don't know why it's like that, or, they just have high self-esteem. I don't know. That's just what I heard. It's ridiculous here. But back to just regular scheduled programming. Can you tell us the success stories you've seen from LeadMeNot? Like, obviously people beating addiction, everything. And
yeah. So, it's been really exciting. Like, LeadMeNot, a lot of our growth has been organic. Almost all of it has been organic. I did run a Google ad for 2 weeks, which was really successful, and it was really cheap too.
Right.
But seeing organic growth, and then all the reviews we have on Google Play, plus all the people have reached out to me that don't have reviews on Google Play. It's like every success story that we have so far is rooted in right now is like, hey, I've been able to find freedom from pornography. And it's either I don't need this app anymore, which in one way is awesome. Right now it's free. So it's I don't care that much. But if you start charging, then it's like they say about Hinge, right? It's Hinge is the dating app to be deleted. It's like, it's good because you get more people, but it's like ultimately you're trying to get people together so they don't need your app anymore, right?
Right.
So like any success we've had where people say like, hey, this is something I don't need anymore in my life, I think is a huge win. So, but similar, related to that, we have success stories of folks who have just like, hey, I'm spending less time on my phone now, right? I'm spending less time on my phone because I was able to set up these alerts with LeadMeNot, or like I'm spending less time on Instagram, or for me, I use LeadMeNot on my phone. That's the only thing I have on my phone, and it's really, really hard for me to install or use any dating apps without anyone finding out about it. Like we use accountability, Z. I don't know if you like. So you have 3 accountability partners. You add them to the app, and then based on what you do, they get alerted, and they get notified. Okay, hey, Jason installed Tinder. Reach out to him and see if this is something that, this is on Android only right now. You can't do this on iPhone yet. And it's like, there's a lot of friction where it's like, we add friction for the things that we want to stop doing. Like, make it harder to do the things that you don't want to do. Make it easier to do the things you want to do, right? So, even for me, it's like success of like, okay, I can't like get away with anything right now, which for me is really helpful. But then you always have to be careful because like you can try and find other loopholes and ways around it, right? But so yeah, a lot of our success again has been in folks who are finding freedom and getting closer to it, and then others that have like, okay, I don't need your app anymore.
Wow, that's really cool. And basically, can you give us some advice on how to be, successful like yourself in entrepreneurship? I mean, to actually have an app in the App Store is like really hard. So, like, that's kudos to you.
Sure. Yeah, like I said, LeadMeNot is just a free app right now. I don't have any revenue yet. I'm still bootstrapped, right? I've been spending my own money, so I don't have any investors. I'm still 100% owner, all this stuff. So, my entrepreneurial journey right now, if I can, take pride in any part of it, is the fact that I had an idea, I executed on that idea, and I'm able to build a real user base from the ground up. And, hey, do we have millions of people? No. Do I have $1 in revenue? Not yet. No, not yet. So like there's still milestones that have yet to be achieved that may never be achieved. And I'm hopeful they will be. But it's been, for me, I think the biggest thing I could have done that I would have regretted was like I had an idea that I never tried. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, I wish I tried. I wish I was able to move forward with this thing that was on my heart for so long. And I would have regretted that. And I'm glad that the people around me were able to encourage me and allow me to like, okay, I'm gonna press forward. So, and I think that a lot of the battle is even getting past yourself, right? But then there's tons of people, entrepreneurs, much more successful than me, 20 times over, because they have the money. They had the exit, they got the customers, and they talk much more about, like, they've experienced more hardship than I have. In my own hardship has been different. I guess we can all experience it differently, So, but I'm still in it, man. And like I said, I'm not in it 100% yet because I still have a full-time job. So.
Yeah. Wow. And how can our listeners reach out to you and how can they best go about getting on the app? They just go to the iOS and Android store, or how should they?
Well, just Android right now. So LeadMeNot, one word, no spaces, Google Play. You go to leadmenot.org. We have our Insta @LeadMeNot app, which, I need to do more on the Instagram front. I kind of paused that for a second. But yeah, no, I mean, if anyone's listening that Android user that you think you have a use case that you could use this for, please check it out. And if you don't have an accountability partner, and if you're listening and watching me talk and you trust me enough where you can add me as your partner, and I have that on the website, LeadMeNot.org. You can add me to your account, and I'm happy to walk with you. Whatever it is, right? Whatever it is you're looking to mitigate in your digital life. So.
Absolutely. And basically my questions are, but I just have one last question. So like, because I have a friend and he always uses, and I love your app. I'm going to tell him to download it. He always uses dating apps. And I always said to him, I'm like, this is just my 2 cents with it. Obviously, I'm an idiot, but that's not 2 cents. It always seems like, and that's why I didn't understand. Like, even how I'm glad. I don't even understand how you were ordered, because you're a successful guy that's good looking, and that's like, I think some little women didn't think you were real, like on the app, like you know what I mean, like because it seems like I'm like, okay, I'm getting the best job. Like I'm someone that thinks trying to hire me. Why? I'm not gonna apply for Office Depot. Like I'm not, shit like even with the girl, it's like, well, are you gonna get the best quality woman? Because like if you're a really high quality, whatever you want to call it, you got so many people trying to be with you, or you're in a relationship. Like I wouldn't be on there if I'm like a high quality, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think the women thought you were real. I just don't think it's like, there's no way this guy's real.
So, wait, what's your question?
My question is like, did you see like low quality women on there? Like, did any of the women that you did you think that it would, like, did you ever meet someone that was decent quality on there, or like, did you?
Yeah, no. Man, there were tons of girls I met who were really amazing.
Wow. Okay.
Quality women, for sure.
Right.
But again, bro, it goes back to what were my intentions. Like, my intention was I just wanted to hook up and mess around.
Okay.
Right? That's what I was saying. It's like I wasn't coming at it from a healthy place. And, people could challenge my worldview for sure. It's like, well, what's wrong with that? And there's nothing wrong with that if it's consensual and it's healthy and it's good. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But for me, it wasn't healthy.
All right.
That's not what I want in my life, and that's not what I want for the women that I interact with and meet in life. So like I said, dating apps are healthy and can be a really good thing, and I'm not condemning them. I'm just more so referring to what does this mean in the context of addictive cycles and unhealthy and destructive behavior. So you can just take a dating app, you can replace it with anything else.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, yeah, no, I mean, thank you so much for coming on. This was great. You're just a lot more mature than me. Like, I mean, obviously you have a lot more growth that you've done, and that's just so cool that you can look back and say like, oh, okay, this was, I've been able to improve and created this whole app to help others improve as well. So that's just so groundbreaking. That's really cool. Like, especially at your age, like that's not that old to be that, that wise, basically. Because I mean, I see people. My dad, like literally, like he's awesome, but he still has a huge gambling addiction. He's like 55, so he needs to download the app and get it together.
Bro. If my story can be encouraging for you or anyone else listening, and that's what I care about.
Are you tired of developers and consulting firms taking advantage of your lack of technology knowledge? Narrow Lending is here to help with your software, mobile app, IT security, and game development needs. Give us a call at 888-503-8298.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show.